There are some examples at the top, so if you get stuck as you're solving, feel free to reference those, okay? This page is going to go over both 1 and 2-step inequalities because you know how to solve 1 and 2-step equations. And everything is the same with the exception of the flip-flop rule, okay? So let's look at number 1. What would be the first thing I would do to solve this inequality? Down the inequality symbol. Very good. So it says 8 times x is less than 120. 8x is less than 120. Okay, so I'm going to look to find my variable. What am I going to do to undo that 8? Good. So over here, these cancel. I'm left with x, and I need to do 120 divided by 8. 15. Okay, did I multiply or divide by a negative number?
Yes. No.
No, every number in that inequality was positive. So when I'm writing my inequality, I'm going to keep my inequality symbol exactly the same as in the original problem. X is less than 15. We only flip-flop it if we multiply or divide by a negative number. Was 8 a negative number? It was not. Okay? All right, number 2. I'm going to draw my line down my inequality sign. What am I going to do next? Yes, sorry, Kennedy. I'm going to divide by 16 on both sides. Okay? Negative 100 divided by 16. Let's see. I need to do 100 divided by 16 because I'm pretty sure it's decimal. 6.25. Okay, but it's negative 6 25/100. Now, this one's kind of tricky, and that's why I wanted to do this example. Did I multiply or divide by a negative number?
Yes.
No.
What?
Okay, now this is where it's tricky. I divided with a negative number, but I did not divide by a negative number. Okay? You'll see in the next example what I'm talking about. But I have my 100 here on top. This is not the number that I was dividing by. The 16 is the number I was dividing by. So I'm actually, in this answer, going to keep my inequality as a greater than. My answer is still negative 6.25, but it's x is greater than negative 6.25. And I'm glad that they had one of these on here because I think that that's the one thing that really tricks us. Now let's look at number 3. How am I going to undo that negative 5?
Divide by negative 5.
Good. On both sides of my inequality. Okay, what is 80 divided by negative 5? I think it's bigger than that. 60, well, maybe you're right. Let me double check. Oh, I did 53. All right. Negative 16. Okay, so I divided by negative 5 on both sides to undo the negative 5, and I came up with 80 divided by negative 5 is 16. Now, did I multiply or divide by a negative number?
Yes.
Yes. So this is where I flip-flop my inequality symbol. So where I had a greater than, now I'm going to have a less than. Okay? Does everybody see the difference between number 2 and number 3?
Yes.
It's the number that you're undoing or the number that you're dividing both sides or multiplying both sides by that matters. Okay, let's do two steps and then I'll let you guys work. So let's go to number 7. Number 7, I'm going to start by drawing my line down my inequality. What number am I going to work with first? 20. I'm going to do what with the 20? Subtract 20 from both sides. Okay, so my 4x is still there. 20 minus 20 cancels. 100 minus 20 is 80. I'm going to keep bringing that inequality sign down exactly as it is until I end up multiplying or dividing by a negative number, just to keep it clear. How am I going to undo my 4 now? $80 divided by 4 is 20. At any point in this problem, did I multiply or divide by a negative number?
No.
No. I subtracted a number, but remember from our flip-flop rule, we don't flip-flop when we're subtracting. I divided by a positive number. We don't flip-flop when we divide by a positive number. So I can keep my inequality sign as it is. All right, let's skip down to number 10. Just go directly below. I'm going to draw my line. What am I going to do next? Oh,
20.
We've got to deal with our constant first. Remember, we always deal with our constant first. So I have negative 20x. I just brought that down. Those cancel. I have less than or equal to 380. What's my last step?
Divide.
Divide by what?
20.
Negative 20. Oh, that's interesting. I'm dividing by a negative number. Okay, so these cancel. I'm left with x. Does this follow the flip-flop rule?
Yes.
Yes. I'm dividing by a negative 20. So my less than or equal to becomes a greater than or equal to. Make sure you still include that equal to part. 380 divided by negative 20. Anybody know?
19. Yeah.
Okay. So we only follow the flip-flop rule when we are multiplying or dividing by a negative number. Questions?